So it finally happened. Tom Welling is confirmed to be returning for as Clark Kent for Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is this year's CW or Arrowverse crossover, which is in December and January, and it's going to be fantastic. Tom Welling played Clark Kent in the 10-year-long or 10-season-long CW show Smallville, which ran from 2001 to 2011. And it's basically the precursor to Arrow and the Arrowverse in general. I know a lot of people kind of say that Smallville wasn't the thing that started Arrow, but it actually was. Justin Hartley's Green Arrow in Smallville was a lot of the reason why Arrow happened. People were so happy and they liked that version of Oliver Queen so much that they want to start their own TV show. On top of that, Mark Guggenheim and Stephen Amell have also confirmed that Tom Welling is basically the granddaddy of current TV superheroes, which is completely accurate. You know, he played Clark Kent for 10 years. Smallville, towards the end of Smallville, they brought in so many DC characters. They basically had the Justice League without calling it the Justice League. They had the Justice Society of America. They had Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, and dozens and dozens of other DC characters that even the Arrowverse hasn't gotten a chance to introduce yet. So, yeah, Smallville is the reason why Arrow and The Flash happened. And Stephen Amell said that there'd be no crossover without Tom Welling, so Tom Welling's in the crossover, and that's exactly what this feels like. You know, if he wasn't in this crossover, it would have felt like a huge hole in the whole thing. Like, I'm sure it still would have been amazingly enjoyable, but the fact that they're getting so many characters from other DC properties back, or just actors from other DC properties back, not having Tom Welling would have felt like a little bit of a misstep. But the deal just got finalized, and I was super worried that this wasn't going to happen because Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum have both said that they weren't approached by anyone to appear in Crisis on Infinite Earths. But now it seems like that was a little bit of a fib because it apparently looks like they've been working on this deal for a while, and they only just finally got schedules to line up. But this is a huge get because Tom Welling doesn't really like to do much in terms of acting anymore. Like Lucifer, he appeared in that for a little bit, and that was kind of the first thing in a long time he's been in. Other than that, he kind of just sticks to directing, so it's awesome they were able to get him back for this. But yeah, I would love to also see people like Justin Hartley, who played Oliver Queen, Erica Durance, who played Lois Lane, Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex. All of these characters I would also love to see return. Some of them are easier than other. Like there's the girl who played Supergirl in Smallville. She already appeared in Supergirl during season 1. And Erica Durance, who played Lois Lane, appeared in Supergirl as Supergirl's mom. So I think it would be easy to get characters like that back. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit weird because, like, you know, with Erica Durance playing Supergirl's mother, the Arrowverse has already kind of set up this rule that your doppelgangers on different Earths look very similar to you, or either look exactly like you. Like, for example, Barry Allen on Earth 90 looks identical to Henry Allen from Earth 1. Whereas it would be weird if Lois Lane on Earth Smallville looked just like Supergirl's mother from Earth 38, considering that Supergirl's mother is basically Clark's aunt, and, you know, it'd be a little bit weird. I'm sure they could make it work, and I'm not going to get all winded up in that, but I'm sure they can do it. On top of that, I was a little bit worried that they weren't going to have this be Smallville's version of Clark Kent. Like, for example, with we know that Superman Returns is Brandon Routh is coming back as Superman, and we don't know for certain if that is the Superman Returns version of the character, but I don't think it is, because the fact that they're saying it's the Kingdom Come version makes it feel like they're not going to have it be the same version of the character. I was worried they were going to do that with Smallville's version of Clark Kent, but they're actually not. They're actually having this be the Clark Kent version of from Smallville, and it's going to be 10 years after Smallville ended. And they're going to, like, kind of talk about what has happened to Clark during those 10 years. Plus, Smallville's final episode, like, towards the very end of it, they did a jump forward into the future. It was, I can't remember if it was 8 years into the future or 10 years into the future. But they did a time jump into the future, showing Lois Lane and Clark Kent working at the Daily Planet, Lex Luthor is the president, and they did the iconic thing where Clark rips open his shirt and shows the Superman sign. That suit was actually CGI'd on him. They wouldn't even let him wear the suit, which is kind of crazy considering that we're going to get 3 Superman in one crossover. But anyway, so this crossover will be set 2 years after that jump into the future, which means that this actually isn't that long after we last saw Clark Kent. Like, this would have only been 2 more seasons of Smallville after Clark Kent that we would have caught up with him. So we're not seeing a Clark Kent that, like, is, you know, all dark and grizzled. Well, we could be seeing that, but I don't think we'll be seeing that. So it's kind of interesting that when you think of it like that. But yeah, also, Mark Guggenheim said that they were trying to get Cameron Cuff, who played Segel in Krypton, but they couldn't get schedules to work. This kind of sucks because it would have been awesome to see his character. I'm not the biggest fan of Krypton, but Seg and Lobo were my Adam Strange were my 3 favorite things from that show, and I thought he was a perfect Segel. Plus, the actor is a huge fan of DC and DC Comics and Superman and all that sort of stuff, so I'm sure it sucks that he wasn't able to get into Crisis. But huge props to Mark and all the people working on this for actually trying, which is kind of crazy that they did that, especially since Krypton was cancelled. It's kind of nice that they reached out and were like, hey, look, you want to show up? Even if they couldn't make it, still huge props for them doing that. But that brings up the question, are they going to do a scenario that's kind of like the Doctor Who 50th anniversary? In that, there's a bit where there's only 3 doctors in the 50th anniversary, like actual doctors there, but they do this scene where all 13 doctors show up, but it's all like kind of archived footage from old episodes and stuff like that. I wonder if they're going to do something like that. All the people they can't get into the crossover, like maybe some of the big movie characters, maybe people who it's just not possible to get, like Adam West's Batman, Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern, Cameron Cuff's Segel. They could do something like that where we see just footage of those characters from different episodes and they kind of make it work in this. I, for one, will be 100% down with that. But yeah, I'm just so happy we're finally getting Tom Welling returning as Clark Kent. But thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and all of that. And what characters would you like to see come into Crisis that haven't been confirmed yet? And I hope you have an awesome day.